back for your ears only. I'm Mark Garber.
I'm David Alpern with this quote from the news. I was planning on making a major announcement tonight, but I decided tonight's your night. That was a tease by Vice President Joe Biden on the debut of NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers. Fellow guest Amy Poehler was not shy about her plans. I'm going to run for president, she said. Now this.
Cole Porter on the banjo? It's not just music, it's a mission for Cynthia Sayer. After years playing in Woody Allen's legendary New Orleans jazz band gigs Monday nights at Manhattan's posh Carlisle Hotel, Sayer now performs across the country and around the world to make listeners love her 4-string banjo, not the common 5- or 6-string variety, as much as she does.
She'll do it again this Friday, March 7th, at Joe's Pub in New York's Public Theater. But for your ears only, she's on the line now to talk about her latest show, her beloved banjo, and life and music generally. Cynthia Sayer, welcome to our show.
So happy to be here.
How and why did you pick up the banjo?
To be honest with you, banjo started because of drums. When I was 13, I saw a dance band at my school talent show, and I decided I wanted a drum set. I had a big fight with my parents, and I lobbied hard because I really wanted those drums. And my parents said, absolutely no. I had 2 brothers and a sister. We all played instruments, and that was like way too much racket in the house for them. And one day I came home from school, and there was this banjo on my bed, and I hardly knew what it was. I did have a vague association with bluegrass music, but I'd never seen a real banjo before, and I knew instantly it was a bribe, and I'd never get my drums. So I just thought, well, okay, I'll play this thing.
Well, historically, the banjo hasn't gotten a lot of respect, Cynthia. Why do you think that is?
It's just considered a fringe instrument, and there's a complication of, I believe, sort of socio-economic reasons for that. Originally, it was an African instrument, and it was considered very lowbrow. It was part of Southern Plantation Black Association, and then it became a female instrument. Women were simple and emotional, too, so that was okay. And it was a rebellious statement for women to play the banjo, this exotic thing, and eventually became a white male instrument. You know, it has this really amazing history. But if you think about it, the banjo, folk music, and then in the 4-string banjo world, sing-alongs and corny striped vests and all this kind of stuff. It's got a kind of fringe association that it's had for its whole existence. And it's too bad because it's a really important part of musical history, and it's a very vibrant part of so many genres of music, and that's one of my missions because the 4-string banjo is like so cool, and I want people to realize all that it has been and all that it is.
How rare are female banjo players these days, especially in jazz music, and did you feel any resistance from the boys in the bands?
Oh, well, I would say that for almost my entire career, I was always the only woman playing. But, that's jazz. Early jazz in particular, for some reason, it was just never women. I was touring for I suppose about 10 years before I even played with another woman instrumentalist. There are always women singers, the occasional woman pianist, but instrumentalists in jazz, and particularly early jazz, they are few and far between. But I'm happy to say that in the past, very recently, like maybe 5 years or so, there's a whole new crop of these young women who are out there. There's some really great talent out there.
Well, what is it about the 4-string banjo rather than the 5 or 6 that makes it different and more exciting to you?
Well, I like the swing, I like jazz, and they're associated with a different feeling and a different kind of music. The 5-string banjo, folk, bluegrass, country, that has a whole different world. And the world that I'm in is a hot swing and early jazz style. Although, I'm not from 1920 and I'm a person of today, and I I believe in playing the instrument with a current sensibility. So I kind of take the early jazz sounds and make it my own. But it's just a different world.
You played extensively with filmmaker Woody Allen. How did you two get together?
Well, Woody Allen is, as many people know, he loves early New Orleans music, and he plays the clarinet, and he has a jazz band in New York, and a lot of the people who specialize in this music have come across him in, the New York professional scene. And gosh, I met him and started working with him shortly after I came to New York, and eventually he changed his band, and I became a regular member of the band, and it's an experience. When you live in New York City, you don't actually have a lot of opportunity to play this really old style of New Orleans music, which he likes, which is based on a sound of George Louis Bunk Johnson, which might be getting a little too inside here for your show. But in any event, it's really fun music, and I had a blast in the band.
The New York Times calls Cynthia Sayer a rarity, a woman who plays the banjo with drive and virtuosity. You can catch her Friday, March 7th at Joe's Pub, 425 Lafayette Street in Manhattan, or on her latest CD, Joyride, available at cynthiasayer.com.
And this has been For Your Ears Only.